All right, this is the Blathering, and I'm happy you're all here. It is the end of the year edition. End of the year, closing time. That song's about his daughter. It is not about a bar at all. I am so happy to be here at the end of the year because we made it to the end of the year. This wraps up my 11th year of broadcasting on this RSS feed. Launched as the Napzok Files, which was also the title of a column I had on the schmoesknow.com website before I think any of you knew who I was. I wrote some snarky, shithead movie kind of commentary articles. I was trying to be funny. I probably was just a jerk towards some really talented creatives. But that was called the Napzok Files. So then I decided to launch a podcast called the Napzok Files. And I remember always telling myself I should change that name. Eventually, I kind of did. It was Saturday Night Napzok on the Napzok Files for a while. One of those long titles that never really clicks. But I felt not acknowledging that Saturday Night Napzok had become the bulk of the show for a couple of years was unfair. And then now it's the Napzok Network because the Napzok Files sounded old to me. It sounded dated. I think, where's that? I even have the old music here. Yeah, it is. The Majestic March of Tex Tunney is what I renamed this song from my friend Brian Burroughs' work. I think he called the song Detroit. Broadcasting from beautiful Burbank, California. Actually, broadcasting from sexy, steamy Studio City, California. This is the Napzok Files. That was that music. God, that's that. So, anyways, that was why. Oh, where's the other one? And then this became. I still like this one a lot. This kind of became the Napzok Files for a while. Anyways, that's why the whole Napzok Network kind of came. It's a little bit of a rebrand. But the RSS feed is the same, and we're entering our 11th year. And I think this is now like my 11th time I've done a New Year's resolutions episode, or at least talked about it. And the spirit's the same. I don't know if I really believe in resolutions. I don't know if I believe in dreams. I have them. They all break. But I do believe in goals. I do believe in finding your purpose. And I do believe in the turning of the page. It's something I've said on this feed now, I think, my 11th straight year. Because the first year wouldn't have had that. And it's funny, the first time I did it, I was joking because a friend of mine had suggested, I'm going to do for my podcast, it's the end of the year, I'm going to do an episode about resolutions. We even just did this on Anytime with Ken Napzok too. It's natural. But I was kind of laughing, not at them, but laughing at the whole idea because in 2000, like probably 14 was maybe the first time I did it. Maybe because I technically started in 2012, so maybe around then, but definitely New Year's 2013 into 2014, it was like, I'm going to have a deep conversation about goals and resolutions in the new year. Everything's been done 15 times in podcasts and YouTube channels. We've all done this. But that's okay. You just got to talk about your point of view, share your perspective, and connect to others out there. Looking out this more than any other year in my life, I have been more connected to the problems of the world on a daily basis. And that can get overwhelming. We got our own depressions to deal with. We got our own neuroses, anxieties, fears, overwhelmed problems. We got it all. Overwhelming, crushing defeat that we deal with every day. But then you add in the world, it can absolutely get tough. I don't know what the future holds for the world, let alone me right now. And I don't think that's been different. I really don't believe that. Yes, I can blame social media for the 24-second news cycle, but it's always been this way. Billy Joel got it right. We didn't start the fire. It was always burning since the world was turning. We didn't. It's so true. That's one of the many reasons that's a great song. And to try to cover that song is brave and bold, and to try to update it for the present days is brave and bold. And I heard the version that came out, and I think it missed some of the point. Anyways, it's still valid in valor. I have a lot of I don't even know what I'm trying to say. That poor band. I'm saying I'm upset. I'm picking on a band, and I shouldn't. You know. And all the words are rushing into my head at once. This is welcome to the Blathering. If you haven't listened to me before, I'm Ken Napzok, and this is what I do. I blather to a point. But with the world right in front of all of us right now, it is easy to get lost. It's easy to get scared. It's easy to crumble under the weight of all of it, because people are out there crumbling under the weight of all of it, and sometimes it's literal. This year, going into 2024, I am trying to find the thing that is on the shirt that I have on Patreon. Check out the merch level if you'd like to support. Hope. It's so prevalent in Star Wars. It's hope. And we all need that hope. It is the opposite of fear. Star Wars, the thing I spent a lot of time diving into, is about hope versus fear. It is about finding hope in the fear. It is about overcoming fear to reach for hope. And this year, more than ever, and I had this conversation with some friends. We were out having dinner, one of the rare kind of joys of my December. We all have that, like, look, we're older, we're cynical. We know that December 31st and January 1st are just constructs in our mind. And the changing of the clock, the dropping of the apple, the end of the year doesn't bring about all your dreams. It doesn't change anything. But there is something to be said about this construct allowing us to portion things out a bit, to box them up and send them all away. It is the mind that drives you forward, right? It is the mind, the spirit. If you still have that, if you still lead with that, you can still find the hope. So if you want to gather around a fireplace and put your intentions or put your goals on a piece of paper and burn them in fire, I support that because that can drive you, right? I don't have the information in front of me. I know people like to have podcasters have all the research in front of them at the moment they press the record button. But I know there's those stories out there of people who, through the power of mind, to the power of joy of those around them, hang on in ways that cannot be explained by science. And I do still believe in a spiritual world. I just don't think the grifters selling the UAP stories are telling the truth. But I do believe in something else. And it's always something we can't fully understand, that the power of the mind and the spirit and the heart and the power of hope can keep people going. And it sounds a little, a little out there, but I am grabbing on more than any other year of my adult life to hope. I had probably had a lot of hope at like 9 or 10 that I would get a cool G.I. Joe toy at Christmas, or be president or an astronaut or a president astronaut. Like I'm sure it's some good hope. But my adult years, especially moving to L.A., I've been indifferent to the new year. I've been snarky about the new year. I've done that. I'm above it. I've gone out and celebrated it. I've barricaded inside, which was probably my plan this year. Be safe. Be safe always. But I've always enjoyed it, and that's why I do the podcast episodes. There always seems to be a lot of struggle at the end of the year. I've lost a lot of jobs at the end of the year. I've also lost jobs at the beginning of the year, though. But I believe in the construct. I believe in the spirit behind it because it can help you unlock your spirit of hope. It can help you unlock all those good intentions. And if you need to mentally press that reset button, this is the global chance we all have to do it. Now, someone smarter than I would come on this show and say, here's some tips. Here's how I approach the new year. Here's how I write things down and work through it. I want to shout out my buddy Phil Svitek and his show, Phil Svitek podcast, to go to his YouTube channel. He's really good in that kind of stuff, going, hey, I heard this thing. Hey, this thing kind of works for me. Maybe you should consider it, maybe you should consider it. And I'm not saying it's the right way. I'm just saying it's worked for me. And here's how you can move forward. You should all listen to Phil, because I'm just a scatterbrained shotgun to a wall type of guy when it comes to that stuff. But I try to break it down to the bare minimum, to things I can understand. Having a list of things you want to do, having things you'd like to accomplish, having things you want to work on, having things you want to get better at, having improvements you want to make in yourself. I think that's all valuable. But it all, to me, is focusing what's in your mind, calming your spirit, and choosing the light. And I think that's where a lot of the value is, in all those rituals and anything you might want to do in turning to the page. And I don't remember every word I've ever said on this podcast about resolutions, but they're all come back to this simple idea and where I'm at right now and where I'm at with my view of the world. Darkness is everywhere. But every little thing you do to help you focus on the hope and have the hope drive you forward to a better tomorrow for those around you, those out there in the world, and yourself. I'm gripping for that right now. And I'm going to choose that. I'm going to choose to grab onto that. Hope. I'm not a poet. I want to be a poet. That's a goal of mine this next year. I wish I was funnier. That's a goal of mine next year. I'd like to be funny again. I don't think, and it's a weird thing as a stand-up comic to say. I've said this before, but I flew back from Seattle. I had okay sets in Seattle, to be honest. I had okay sets up there. If you're listening now and you watch me there, they weren't my best nights. They weren't my worst. But it was I was weirdly detached from it all, and part of it is I just don't know. I don't know if I'm funny anymore. I've always been considered one of the funny ones. I've always been the comics comic. I've always been one of the funnier people in the writers' rooms I've been in or creative situations. But it doesn't often get outside those walls. I think I'm so lost behind so many things in my mind. I'm lost behind the cloudiness. If I choose hope more, I might be funny again. So I'm trying to work on that in the new year. I don't know if I have anything important to say about that. I was just putting it out there. Or maybe I just lost my train of thought. I don't know. It's what we do here at the Blathering. Where are you at? Comment down below. Write to me. Is that farming for engagement? Sure. I need some help with engagement. But where you are, take the time this year as the clock strikes midnight. I better take a sip of that water. As the clock strikes midnight, take some time with yourself this year. Where are you at? Take stock of yourself. Give a little self-care. We need you all to be strong for yourself, because that will help you be strong for the others around you, you know? If you're injured and you fall out of the pack, you're no good to the pack. In the craziness that is the new year and the end of the year, and the big the big giant exhaling. You all know I'm dumb. In the great exhale we're all taking, it can get a little, you can lose yourself in it. Take yourself aside on New Year's. It might be at a party. That's okay. Maybe you're at a party. You're drinking responsibly. And people are like, "Oh, what's Bob doing?" Bob's outside taking stock of himself. But it's about to strike midnight. Got to do New Year's Kiss and sing Auld Lang Syne. Auld Lang Syne. We got to sing the When Harry Met Sally song. Let's do it. No, Bob's outside looking in the mirror of life and finding out the best way forward. I think that's what you should do. This has not been the best year for me. And it's not been the best year for a lot of people. And there's a lot of uncertainty going forward. We can't change that. That is no different from any other year. It's so vibrant. It's so in our faces, and we're so aware. We're so aware of it right now. So many things are changing. Plug in, find the ways to fight, find the ways to highlight and shine lights on things that need shining on. That's why I'm more politically aware. I'll stop short of saying politically involved, because that to me seems like, you either attend local city council meetings, which I don't want to do, or you want to run for office, which I don't want to do yet. I think about 65, maybe I'll run for office. That seems like a good young age to start. I could see myself as, Burbank City Council. I know people on Burbank City Council, and they're great, and they're young, and they're vibrant. I am not that. I'm just more aware of the world than I ever have before, and that helps make things a little more difficult. Let's all work together. When you're having those conversations, like I had last week, I just want the year to change. Let's all work on propping each other up. I don't find the need to go to New Year's parties. I don't find the need to go to New Year's parties, but I don't fault anyone that does. In fact, I I envy those. I've had fun at New Year's parties. I've had a lot of fun at New Year's parties. To be around some people you care about, counting down. But I think I've definitely graduated, and you can graduate at any point in time. And I think you can go re-enter the school. But I'm in a period of time where Grace and I and the dogs being home on the couch. I like watching the ball drop. I don't think she does, but I like watching the ball drop. I get emotional when they do the end of the year, who died packages. I get emotional. Sometimes I don't even know. It's like I don't know. As cinematographer, oh my god! But I quite enjoy the spirit. There's a bittersweet. That's what's so fascinating about New Year's, and to maybe start to wrap it all up and tie it all together. There's something so bittersweet about New Year's versus Thanksgiving, Christmas, Halloween, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, any holiday in this Happy Holidays run that generally starts with Halloween, right? It's generally like Halloween's the kickoff to the run that's about to begin. Though some might say the start of the NFL season, or the World Series gets in there before. To be fair to baseball. This whole New Year's compared to the other holidays, I think there's some bittersweetness and some sadness to Christmas, but New Year's is always it's pitched as this celebratory. Let's put on some silly glasses and gather in Times Square and sing and drink and kiss and get ready for another year. There's always a tinge of sadness, and I think maybe that is what I've always picked up on my entire life, and have always included and inserted into these end of the year, let's think about resolutions type of episodes, right? It seems so simple, but I think I just kind of discovered that in my own brain. The ball dropping while we talk about those we lost this year, and I'm crying with a champagne flute on my couch, is indicative of the general vibe. We're starting anew, but we're mourning what we were, who we've lost, what we've lost, and maybe what we didn't do. And I think focusing on that is ingrained in what we, at least in Western culture, those who celebrate New Year's. Like, there's got to be a country that's like, we don't care. Our New Year's in February. What are you talking about? But in the New Year traditional New Year celebration, it's bittersweet and somber, which is okay. I think you should sit around a fire pit and look into the flames and think about what you did this year and what you did accomplish and what you didn't. But it can lead us all down a darker path. So that's why we got to choose hope. And we got to celebrate what we did accomplish. I got to go to London this year. Got to go to Paris for the first time. Loved both cities. Loved my time there. Fell in love with Paris. I definitely want a second date with London. I loved it, but like Paris was a little more, a little different feel for me. I never thought I'd do that. There was a point in time I never thought I'd get to New York, and I finally did. But to get to London, to actually have a pint in a pub it meant a lot. I'm blessed to have the opportunity. I'm blessed to have some reasons to go out there with Star Wars Celebration London. Something I never thought I'd do. I released music, something I never thought I'd do. Got a comedy album out there, something I always should have done, but was always afraid to, always down on myself and didn't do it. And I took a big leap. Maybe I should have waited a little bit, but I got it out there. And I think as you stare into those flames and say goodbye to the year and cry at the names that the TV's showing you that you lost, I think you start thinking about the things you lost during this year. And it could be people, and there could be people you don't want to say goodbye to. It could be jobs you lost, opportunities, relationships, whatever. But we all have a tendency to carry that weight as we look to the new year. It's a clean slate. It's a clean slate. What are you going to do this year? What are you going to accomplish? And are you ready for the things that you're going to experience that you didn't know you were going to experience? January last year, there was an idea floating around that I'd help my friend Brian Tiller write a song. The end of the year, we released 7 with our buddy Sean. I had no idea, no resolution, no goal, no plan. But when it started to emerge, I dug in and I did it and I accomplished it and I got to experience it. What did you experience this year? Take those times. That's the engagement farming for yourself, not for me. For yourself, not for me. You might have lost a lot this year. You might be like me, afraid of tomorrow, not just in terms of what's outside my walls, but what's my life? What's my career? What's my money? What's my accomplishments going to look like in a month? I don't know. You're probably in that boat too. But as we look into those flames, let's also look beyond the flames at what we got to experience this year. I think you'll find you did a ton. And that is the hope that we need to carry. That is the hope we need to focus on as we head into 2024. All right, friends. That's it. Blathering will be back. Interviews will be back. Support on Patreon if you want. Tell the world about what we do here. And I'll try to get funny again. All right. Bye.